Max Talks Movies, and this is my brand new box office breakdown show. Today I'm breaking down the box office of the first full box office weekend of the month of November, which is the 7th to the 9th, 2025. Break down the overall numbers domestic and worldwide for the year, and preview the upcoming movies that are hitting theaters this upcoming weekend. So my name is Max Greenberg. Welcome back to Max Talks Box Office here on Max Talks Movies. If you're new, I do this show every single Monday or Tuesday. I'll give you an explanation why today is a Tuesday for this week and why next week will be a Tuesday as well. Also do movie reviews, TV show reviews, out of theater reactions, and movie franchise rankings. So please subscribe and ring the bell if you're new to the channel. Also stay tuned to the end of the video. I'm going to give you my preview of all the videos I have coming out this week. Please comment down below. What are your thoughts on the box office? What did you see this past weekend? What are you going to see this upcoming weekend? What formats? What were your movie theater experiences? I love talking with you guys each week about that. So please leave me a comment. I'll definitely respond as quickly as I can. And also, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. So without further ado, guys, let's get into this past weekend's box office from the 7th to the 9th, 2025. And in first place this weekend, not shockingly, is Predator Badlands from 20th Century Fox, which is Disney. And it opened to a whopping $40 million. That is by far and away the biggest opening of the Predator franchise. This is a franchise that has not even grossed $200 million worldwide. The biggest solo Predator movie from a box office perspective was 2018's The Predator, the worst received film of the franchise, made 159 worldwide. The biggest overall Predator film in the franchise was Alien versus Predator, which came out in 2004, and that made around 172 for its worldwide box office. So Badlands already is up to 82.7 worldwide, which is already bigger than Predator 2. It's 16 million away from the first Predator. And again, the last four entries, again, Prey, Killer of Killers were exclusive Hulu films. So the last four Predator movies in theaters all opened near each other. 159 for The Predator, 127 for Predators, and then Alien versus Predator Requiem made 128, and AVP, the first one, made 172. So this is a massive success because, again, you don't know where this franchise is. There hadn't been a movie released in theaters in 7 years, and plus, Predator technically really shifted its fandom to streaming. As Prey, big success in 2022. Killer of Killers this year came out on Hulu. They moved the franchise to basically for 7 years being exclusively on a streaming service. So usually when we see franchises that are very much streaming dependent, then go to back to box office, it's kind of a hit or miss if that translates to more box office success or the fact of maybe this franchise is just meant for streaming. But this franchise is not going to be on Hulu. I don't think moving forward, excuse me, much more moving forward. Great opening for Predator Badlands. The movie is budgeted at 100 million, which for a movie like this in the day and age where we are with blockbusters is honestly a cheap blockbuster. So it needs to make around, I would say, 225, 250, that range to break even. And again, that would have to be the biggest of the franchise. But these statistics, it just needs to gross 173 to be the highest grossing film of the franchise. So I think Dan Trachtenberg is more than safe to continue to run the franchise moving forward. There's some reports that Arnold Schwarzenegger might want to be coming back. I think the Predator franchise will be in theaters for the foreseeable future, which is just really exciting that a franchise that has been around for 30, 40 years now, has now come back in such a big way since Dan Trachtenberg really took over this franchise a couple years ago. So Predator Badlands is at number one. Regretting You is a great story this weekend. It, from Paramount, only dropped 15% in its third weekend, 6.6 million, 38 million domestic. And these are not great numbers for Regretting You, but the holds have been really strong for this movie. The problem for Regretting You is it didn't open that big. It opened around 13 million. So these numbers, even though the holds are again are terrific for this movie, even though the word of mouth has been bad from audiences and critics, again, Romance movies always can have, even if it's badly received, people coming back to see the movie. So, Regretting You, even though it's not doing great really at the box office, their holds are worth noting here in the box office exhibition. Black Phone 2 is in its fourth weekend, only dropping 38%, 5.1 million, 70 million now domestic for the second Black Phone. Again, this is not as big of a success um, as the first movie, which came out a couple years ago. So comparing the Black Phone 1 and 2, currently the first Black Phone did make 90 million and 161 worldwide. Black Phone 2 sitting at 70 domestic and 120 worldwide. So not a, it didn't improve on the first film, but again, the budget was only 30 million and made 120. This movie is swimming in money as it pertains to its cheapness, which is always good for Universal and Blumhouse. Two new movies hit theaters as well this week and then made it into the top five. The first one, as well, is Sarah's Oil. This is a faith-based movie that was distributed by Amazon MGM. It made $4.2 million on an $18 million budget. Again, faith-based movies were a rousing success, I would say, coming out of the pandemic in late 2021, early 2022. I said that multiple times. But faith-based movies have not been big hits as it was a couple years ago. Now, there's still clearly a big enough audience for faith-based movies with big, movie star actors, and not exactly live as a movie star, but famous actors in the movies, where you can keep making these faith-based movies on the cheap. But again, it is very much a niche where the people who are going to see this movie are loving it, but it is not really inducing any fans who are not religious or not Christian at all going to see these movies. It's not really enticing that audience. So it's an interesting thing for the faith-based genre. Are they just going to keep focusing on the people they want to come to the movies, or do they actually want to make some big money and maybe try to include some other people? That's what's going to be very interesting moving forward. Number five, just getting into the top five by $400,000 is Nuremberg. Nuremberg, based off the true story. It is distributed by Sony. It made $3.8 million. Now, Nuremberg and Sarah's Oil are in the top five, but Die My Love, which was the movie that hit theaters this weekend from Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson, that opened in just under 2,000 theaters. It is at number 8. And then Christie, which opened in just over 2,000 theaters, only grossed $1 million, is at number 11. So it's very interesting that Nuremberg, which is seemingly not an awards film for most people, seemingly if you're an awards, someone like me who follows the awards season, no one's really talking about this movie being a major focus in awards season. Obviously, Sarah Oils is not, and you have Christie and Die My Love, which are factors in awards season, and they just did not do well. Nuremberg beat Begonia to stay in this top five, so just a very interesting thing. Russell Crowe, Rami Malek, never been big box office hits. But again, Russell Crowe does well in those like the Exorcist type movies, but his first serious movie in a pretty long time. So good to see him in the top five. Looking at my top over here are the domestic numbers so far this year. Minecraft at 1, Lilo and Stitch at 2, Superman 3, Jurassic World Rebirth is at 4. A sequel for that movie just got announced this week. Sinners at 5, Fantastic Four at 6, How to Train Your Dragon at 7, Captain America at 8, Mission at 9, and Thunderbolts at 10. Looking at the worldwide numbers, Lilo and Stitch, here we are in closing in mid-November, and Lilo and Stitch is the only billion-dollar movie from America so far this year. Minecraft at 3, Jurassic World Rebirth at 4, Demon Slayer at 5, How to Train Your Dragon at 6, F1 the movie at 7, Superman is at 8, Mission Impossible at 9, Fantastic Four is at 10. So hitting theaters, guys, this upcoming weekend, which I'll break down next week, which will be for November the 14th. Two pretty big movies are opening this weekend, trying to do some damage at the box office. First is The Running Man. It's a new film from Edgar Wright, starring Glenn Powell, Josh Brolin, Coleman Domingo, big cast. Michael Cera is hitting theaters based on the Stephen King novel. Glenn Powell, trying to be one of those younger actors in that generation, like Timothy Chalamet, Austin Butler, trying to really make himself a movie star. We'll see if he is, as Running Man hits theaters this weekend. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. It's a third film in the now 12-year franchise, is hitting theaters this week, and they always did quite solid. This is from Lionsgate, so we'll see how Now You See Me 3 does in theaters this weekend. In limited release as well, you have Keeper. This is the third film from horror director Osgood Perkins after last year's Longlegs. It already is his second movie this year because in February he had The Monkey hit theaters. So his third horror film getting rave reviews from like horror creators like James Wan, Ridley Scott saying amazing things about the movie. We'll see if that word of mouth does any damage. So that is this week's movies. Tons of videos, guys, on my channel. Yesterday, I had my out of theater reaction for Christie. Today, I got my review for Christie, as well as this breakdown. 2 videos tomorrow. One will be my ranking of the Predator franchise, including Badlands. And also, I'm going to start my Oscar coverage. I haven't really broken down the Oscars. Well, I usually wait until like when the nominations come out for the Oscars. I want to be a heavy awards person covering it because I have been following it my whole life. So I'm really want to be covering it here on the channel. So Max Talks Oscars episode 1 will come out tomorrow. I'll preview my outlook on awards season up to this point. Thursday, I got invited to an advanced screening of Is This Thing On, the new film directed by Bradley Cooper. That out of theater reaction will be coming out on Thursday night, East Coast time. So definitely stay tuned for that out of theater reaction. Friday, you'll get my out of theater reaction and review for Now You See Me, Now You Don't. And then on the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, I'll have my video out ranking the Now You See Me films. And then Monday, you'll get my out of theater reaction and review for Running Man. And then back here on Tuesday for another episode of Max Talks Box Office.